Okay. Hey, do me a favor, Dr. Hud. You test.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Again, I'd like to welcome you all. Of course, hell or high water, the beat goes on. And as you know, we live in America. This is what God decided that He wanted us to rest at. He had a mission for us to be in this part of the world. So therefore, this is our world headquarters. We as I'm a Pan-Africanist, and basically what that means is that we're concerned about people of melanin all over the world. Now, that does not mean that we're not concerned about other people, because we all live in this world together. It's just that God made tigers to make sure the tigers were all right. God made pine trees to make sure pine trees are all right. They didn't make pine trees to try to get oak trees straightened out. That ain't the pine tree job. You agree with that?
I agree with that.
It's not the lion job to try to get the elephant right. You know, and it ain't the donkey job to get the elephant right, and the elephant job to get the donkey right. The donkeys got to get the donkeys right. The elephants have to get the elephants right. That's where I look at it.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. So therefore, we're trying to do what we can. Everybody has a mission. Unfortunately, I take mine serious, and so. But everybody do the best they can. Whatever. If you're not doing nothing, you're doing the best you can.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody do the best they can. So I'm not going to judge nobody, and I hope don't nobody judge me. You know. But I'm just saying that I have a little higher bar than most people when it comes to issues of humanity. And so that's why I do what I do. And that's why we're doing what we do here today. So again, welcome to Visions Now. Visions Now is a community affairs presentation for New Way TV. And we can be seen on YouTube as well. And Visions Now. And I like to say Visions Now, also known as Power to the People News. And that's why we're here today. And today, we're, of course, it's always special when I'm around my peoples, and particular people from Carver, and particularly people from Carver who were the first generation Carverites. Now, what I mean by that is that if you went to Carver in the 60s, then you're a first generation Carverite, because we're the foundation. Now, in this case, Brother Runzel, he came out in 64, which was the second graduating class.
Correct.
Okay, 63, when we were building Carver, 63 was the first corner. 64 was the second corner. 65 was the third corner. But you know you can't have no building with just 3 corners. You need 4 corners, is that right?
That's right.
66, my class was the 4th corner. Then it was complete. The foundation was laid. And so it's always good, because there's some things that people won't really understand about us, because they really wasn't there during that time. So that's things that don't mean that we agree on everything, but we do understand where we came from in a different kind of way than people who maybe came out in the 70s or in the 80s or in the 90s and on and on. But we hope that as their elders, that we made the hill holy, that Carver Hill, okay? We made it holy. And so that's one of the reasons why we're so fervent in our love for Carver, because Carver was an academy for us. It was not just a school. It was a home, away from home for us. Now, in my case, I went to Carver 12 years. 1st grade to 12th grade. 12 years. I know nothing but Carver, okay? So I literally grew up from 5 years old to 17 years old on that hill. So, and Renzel, how long were you there?
I was there for 6 years.
See? So therefore, basically, out of elementary school, he was stepping on the heel. You see, so what I'm just trying to say is that we have a different perspective, and the environment that we were taught in was different than it is today. So just wanted to kind of put that on. By the way, share this with some of your friends as well. I want to come out from the bat. This is King Weekend, and I'm going to have a few choice words about the King holiday from my perspective, and about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in particular, his holiday, and where we are as a community as well. Today is January the, is it 18th?
17.
17th, day 17th, okay? So the word today is this. As the world turns, the secret to success is to learn to accept the impossible, to do without the indispensable, and to bear the intolerable. Nelson Mandela, South African human rights activist. There's an old saying that goes, it is impossible to succeed without suffering. Failure becomes the final test of persistence. He who has never failed has never succeeded. Success of any kind is like a universal college degree. It can be earned only by following a certain course that exposes the achiever to life's adversities. It is impossible for success to be easy. Success is difficult. It's gut-wrenching, pain-inducing, is built upon inconvenience. Success is a marathon, not a sprint. Success seems to follow a kind of natural selection process. Only those individuals who are willing to rally again after their failures, those who refuse to let defeat keep them down, those who seem to know that success can be theirs if they just stay with it long enough, finally wins the fruits of life. After failing many times in her bid for political office, former Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm gave a clue to her secret of success. The thing to try when all else fails is again. Most men and women who have hit their mark will admit that they just felt they were finally reaching the point in life on which they had set their hearts, the rug was pulled out from under them, and they found themselves back at the beginning. Only those of patient persistence are rewarded. Only those who can hang in there long enough after the crowd has left, drink from the victor's cup. Repeated victories over your problems are the rungs on your ladder of success. Make your breaking point your turning point. I can move any mountain, endure any valley, swim any river. I can do anything. And that's our motto for today. And I think that coming out of Carver, Brother Runzel, I think that's really the spirit that we had, man.
Yes,
that we really,
exactly.
I mean, I've gone all over the world, I mean, everybody has their journey, but I'm saying I've gone in settings that, from Carver, and I just felt like there was no setting that was too grand for me. I felt I belonged wherever I was, whether it was walking with kings or sitting with paupers. I just felt at home wherever I was, and was never intimidated by the fact that I was a little black boy from Southwest Georgia, Columbus, Georgia. Many people say, "Where's that? Columbus, Ohio?" No. Carver High School, Columbus, Georgia. But when I left, they knew, whether it was Africa, whether it was the Caribbean, whether it was Europe, or whether it was different parts of America and Canada, they knew. And the key thing was they might not remember me, but they remember Carver High School.
Yeah.
George Washington Carver High School.
Yeah.
A child of the influence of Booker T. Washington in the shadows of Tuskegee University. Mm-hmm. They knew that I was one who was proud of that. And so with that being said, I'm proud to have you here today. Okay?
I'm glad to be here, Carver Light, and it's a pleasure to sit and have an opportunity to talk to you and also to the public here in Columbus, Georgia.
Now, of course, there are a couple of things we want to talk about, but our principal subject we're going to get to, but I know there's some other things you want to talk about, is Brother Runzel has been working with the city through different administrations.
Correct.
To really do what he called the the Martin Luther King Trail. Is that right?
Right, the Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail.
Outdoor Learning Trail. And it runs from, my understanding, from Bay Street?
Yes, from Bay Street
all the way to
Macon Road.
Macon Road via Rigdon Road. At the corner of Macon and Rigdon is either the end or the beginning, and Bay Street downtown, and it goes through the Columbus Black Wall Street area, known now affectionately as the Liberty District. And we're going to talk about that too, because I just think it would be immoral, and I'm going to use that term, immoral, unjust, if that district does not retain the spirit of black entrepreneurship, black culture in Columbus, Georgia for posterity. I don't want it to be a bedroom area for Columbus State University. I don't want to just be just an area just where they throw up some housing, just say people live here like Liberty Gardens or something. No, it should be a place where there's business development, cultural appreciation, and evolution for our young people and generations to come to be able to grow economically. We call it Ujamaa, cooperative economics, a place for cooperative economic efforts and also Kuumba, creative expressions. And so it should be really, I think, an outdoor learning center and mixed in with entertainment, restaurants, and and opportunities for jazz on the weekends, or poetry, outdoor readings, and even outdoor farmers market. I think it should be that kind of a place. And so I'm laying that out there now. But we can talk about that some other time, because that's a full subject. But I just want to put it on your mind, because I know that route is not going that way by accident. Okay. And so that's why I wanted to make sure.
All right.
Okay. Now, what's the first topic, hot topic on your mind, on your agenda? Because and there's a number of them for me, but today's your day. So what is for you today?
Well, there's two topics that is on my mind and that I got to try to deal with, not because of the fact that it's going to be a short-term goal, but it's going to be a long-term goal. And, my city and my community have stuck by me for 40 years in business here in Columbus, Georgia, or longer. And I owe my community. As you was talking about George Washington Carver High School, our principal was named Mr. S.P. Charleston.
Yes, my grandmother used to always call him Professor.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, before then, he was known as Professor Charleston.
Exactly. Uh-huh. And one of the things that Mr. Charleston instilled into us, those first 4 or 5 classes that graduated from George Washington Carver High School, was that you was a Carverite.
Yes, sir.
And you had pride. And you will always be recognized as a Carverite. And he said the reason for that name, Carverite, is because of the fact that being a graduate of George Washington Carver High School, you must let your light shine. So no matter where you go, people will know that you are a Carverite. And I try to teach these young students that are graduating out of Carver now, because that is not taught in schools now.
Exactly.
And that instills pride in a person. I tell them when they meet me, if you can't remember my name, just remember that I'm a Carverite. And if you say, hello, Carverite, I'm going to turn, because I know you're talking to me or talking to somebody that graduated from George Washington Carver High School.
No doubt about it. Yeah. No doubt about it. Do you remember your class motto?
Let there be light.
And ours was, we came, we saw, we conquered.
That's mighty strong.
That's 66. We came, we saw, we conquered. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. And that was our motto.
Yeah, so that's one of the reasons why I do so much to try to move my city forward, and also try to unite my city, and to help my people as much as I possibly can. What I'm here to talk to you today about is the Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail, why I initiated that project, and also talk about the violence that's going on in our city, and not only in our city, but all over the United States, of killing of our young black people, killing our future.
Right.
And, we got to realize that we as adults and we as citizens in this city and in our community, we got to get involved. We can't just go in the house and just close the doors there's a neighborhood alert that on my phone, and every night there's they're shooting. I heard shooting around my neighborhood and things like that. But if you don't get out and try to do something about it, then what winds up happening is going to get worse. The Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail, the reason why I took that initiative to start that project is because of the fact that we in Columbus has a tendency to accept whatsoever is given to us, and we do not question or we do not say this is not right. When 1970 and 71, when they honored Dr. King here in Columbus, Georgia, they gave us a 2.2-mile stretch of highway. And that stretch of highway was from Buena Vista Road to 10th Avenue.
Right.
Directly in the area where if you didn't live in that area, or if you didn't ride through Buena Vista Road or 10th Avenue on a regular basis, you did not even realize that Dr. King's sacrifice was honored in this city. You can go to any city this size and a lot of cities smaller than this, and Dr. King's name is going to be on a main corridor or it's going to be on the interstates. We got some African Americans in our city that don't know where Dr. King Boulevard is.
Right.
So what I wanted to do was to...
And then let me just say this.
Go ahead.
Also, part of it is also the fact that in other words, it's like anything. If something is important to you and precious to you, you maintain it.
Correct.
As well. And one of the problems that I've always had is that okay, they named it, but they did not put in the resources to beautify it so that, it should be an asset to elevate the community. But instead, it actually went down from
Right.
Brookhaven Boulevard. So I think that I wanted to say to you that the thought that what you do.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Chip, and you are watching New Way to Live Network. Bam.
And also bring resources to see, so when people ride on that boulevard, even if they're just here in Columbus, that at least they feel like they're comfortable and it's attractive
Right.
and pleasant to drive down Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Yeah. Just like you say, beautify the boulevard. You got to invest in it. You got to invest time. You got to invest money. And once you start doing things within your community, you take for an example, you have some people here in Columbus, not only black people, but you have some white people that want to see Columbus change and will help you to change Columbus. But we got to know what's important and what we want to do. The two most important things in this city is our kids getting a good education,
Right.
and also building a strong economic base through African American businesses again.
Yeah, well, not,
The violence that we see in our city, it's my belief and my feeling, being a businessman in this city for about 40 years, that all of our economics, Dr. King did some great things. But when they killed the dreamer, they killed the dream. And then they turned the dream basically into a nightmare. And that nightmare now is creeping up on us more and more.
I was having this conversation today with a member of our city council. And what I was explaining to him was that when we came through Carver, it was drilled in us almost generally every day that you get a good education here. They're trying to get us ready to go out and compete in the world. Mm-hmm. Get a good education. If you can, leave Columbus, go hone you some skills, get you some resources, but come back and help your community.
Exactly.
But after desegregation hit Columbus and that community was destroyed and was broken down, no, in other words, desegregation could have happened in a way that was not destructive to us.
Right.
But they savagely, and they did this all over the country. Just as they dropped the bomb on Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma, they dropped a political bomb, economic and social bomb on Columbus, Georgia, and destroyed a school system that really, frankly, did a better job than the segregated Caucasian system, white school system. So my point of what I'm saying is that today children are taught, get a good education. Mm-hmm. So you can get out of Columbus and never have to come back no more. Mm-hmm. That's what and that's the attitude now. So since then, with many generations or classes after that, they have left Columbus, and many of them only visit but never consider coming back to claim their legacy. And I see it as a legacy.
It is.
That God put us here in this community. Now, I understand that everybody maybe wouldn't be able to do that. But those of us who could and can should make it possible and also make it possible for others to come in as well. The whole point is, though, not just for ourselves, as you mentioned before. We should be responsible for trying to help our community be better. It saddens me that people have come from India and Pakistan and China and Korea and Israel and you name it, to Columbus, Georgia, and have found opportunity and riches, many of whom have bound up the areas that we live in. Back in the day, we own a lot of where we lived. Today we're not landlords anymore. We are just at any given point, gentrification come in and move us right out because we're not coming together to build anything. When we came along, I was explaining this. When we came along, most children I knew had some kind of job. They were working somewhere. Now we make more money. Look, today black folks in Metro Columbus, if I'm not mistaken, I think it makes over $1 billion. That's how much in Metro Columbus black people have, around $1 billion. Mm-hmm. Now, we don't have no business community that reflecting black people spending $1 billion with other black businesses. But point of it is that people are getting rich off of us, but we're getting poorer and poorer. And that's why I'm saying, and I'm appealing that we're going to have to constantly come together and buy one house at a time. Some people buy whole neighborhoods, but we need to get in the game. We need to buy a house together. We need to put up a shopping center. It's also amazing to me how people can knock down things and put up service stations. Why couldn't we do that? That was a time when we had our own service station. But today we make more money, but we seem to be more enslaved to consumerism than it was in those days when we put our pennies together. So that's part of the problem that I think that to me, our political leadership has failed us, and also our economic leaders have failed us as well.
Well, the thing of it is that the first thing is that you got to remember is that you got to love each other. The people that are accomplishing and that are doing these things, they love each other. They trust each other. Now, I know when I was a young man, we had from Casita Road, from 10th Avenue, where Casita Road runs into 10th Avenue, out to Willis Plaza, we had approximately 6 or 7 black-owned service stations.
Right.
Look how many cars we drive now.
Oh my God.
But all of the money that we spend now is with other people instead of ourselves.
Yes.
And we will not be able to move forward until we come together as a unit. And we got to have the churches working on the same page, business people's working on the same page, schools teaching the same thing, and then we will start coming together.
Let me ask this around there.
Yeah.
I think that I studied society, and so that's why this is what I do. And I watch, for example, white religious institutions like the white churches. In the white churches, it is the business people who are the foundation of those white churches.
Well, it was the same thing in our community. Okay. But not now.
Well, that's my point.
Yeah.
So my point on it is those white business people. Now you got your parishioners, but basically, like when Columbus High needs something, they go right to those white businesses and they give them the money, and they still do other little things, but they go to Russia, or they go to China, well, in other words, but in our community, my point is this. Let me cut to the chase. Runzel, why don't you, based upon your business history, why don't you? We need to have a Booker T. Washington Business Association or a Black Chamber of Commerce to pull together our black business community. Because my position is that we won't have it, because all these the Korean community, they have a Korean business network. The East Indians, they have the same thing. The Jewish community, and you got the Chamber of Commerce. Our failure is that we're not organized. You follow me? Uh-huh. Our business community is not organized. So somehow we're going to have to get that first. I believe we're going to have to do that first. And I would hope that you would spend more time really doing it, because then we can see more opportunities, collectively in purchasing things collectively. Mm-hmm. I don't mean getting a little click over here and then they get a little something, they put it in their pocket and they run. No, I'm talking about something that's going to better the entire community.
Well, the way that I look at that, and I'm working on something similar to that now, but it's not with people of my age that I'm trying to pull in. We got to create pathways and put ideas and help structure ideas that young people have. And because, my days are numbered. I got more road behind me than I have in front of me. So the thing that I'm doing, I have a group of young people, and I'll be having a dinner at my place of business coming up in March, where Skippers is going to furnish dinner for a group of young people and also people within the community that we extend the invitation to. We'll be talking about what are the problems as far as Columbus that they see, and how can we as a community come together and make it beneficial for everyone, whether you're black, white, old, young, but make it beneficial for everyone.
Okay, well, let us just talk about this for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm like this though. God bless the child that got his own. We got to get our own house. We can't bring in everybody else who got their thing going, and we can connect and collaborate once we put ourselves together.
Well, see, it takes more than water to boil a potato. If you just got water with no heat, you can't boil a potato. It's going to be, you have people of different races, different colors that want to see the black community prosper.
Right, which is fine.
And you got to open your heart and the doors to take on everyone, because we're going to learn from each other.
But my only point is that we can learn from other people, but other people got their own issues. See, that's one of the things that's going on right now. Why in this country, Trump ran on America first. The whole point, and that's the way people are thinking. At this point, it's time to circle the wagon and get ourselves together so that we can then, let's say, a weak pot and a strong pot can't swim in the same stream. We have to organize our community, put ourselves together, and then we can get support from anybody.
Okay,
but I'm just trying to say that ultimately, we are responsible for our economic well-being. Other people can support us, but if we don't have a pot for them to pour anything into, then it's not going to do any good. So my problem is that we spend so much time appealing to everybody else, but we don't spend enough time appealing to our own community to pull together. And we just got to work out these problems. Some problems you got to handle in your house. You can't be out in the street trying to fix some problems that are going on in the Buckner house. Okay. And so when I'm saying in our community, there's some issues that we have to resolve. Then when we come out to get support from other people, I believe that only then we'll be in a way to be successful and to be self-respecting.
Okay, let me tell you my idea of pulling the community together. The Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail is the main catalyst. The Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail is going to allow tourists to come into our city and ride that trail and see exactly what African Americans have did in order to help make this city the city that it is. Now, you got a lot of African Americans here don't know anything about the city. Hold on. Now, let me finish.
I'm letting you finish, but that's my point.
Wait, let me finish now, because if I don't finish,
go right ahead.
I'm not going to be able to tell no one what I want to do.
Go ahead. Don't get distracted.
Just hold. Let me
go ready.
Listen for.
I'm listening, but I'm still saying that's what I'm saying.
Now, along the Martin Luther King Trail, the purpose of that trail out there is for our people to have a nice place to walk and to exercise and also expand their mind. The trail itself is to help African Americans to basically have a place so that they can control their sugar, diabetes, control high blood pressure, and walk into a community that there's no violence. And also, it's out there so that we can learn about ourselves. We got to learn about ourselves. The trail will have markers from Macon Road on the side of the trail. As you walk, you can read about these African Americans, such as Dr. Thomas H. Brewer. You can read about Fort Benning being the first base in the United States that had a black person lynched on the base itself. You can read about the Carver Heights community being the first African American community built in this city. And the reason it was built is because of the fact...
By and for African American people.
Right. By and for African American people. Mm-hmm. And the reason it was built, and the gentleman that built that community was E.E. Foley.
That's right.
The reason for building that community is because E.E. Foley was a realtor.
That's right.
And when the soldiers came back from World War II, in order to get a VA bill, they had to buy a house in a community that was a subdivision. They just couldn't buy a house out somewhere.
Right.
So Mr. Foley put together the Carver Heights community. Mm-hmm. Now that community was the first African American community built in this city.
Right.
That community was built to be self-contained. You had clubs, you had grocery stores, you had funeral homes, you had your churches.
That's right.
You had all of the things that you needed
An extension of East Winter.
in East Winter. Now, most of your elite African American peoples lived in that area along with the military.
Right, as well as your everyday grassroots people.
Right.
It was an integrated,
Right.
economically community.
Exactly. Now, if you are familiar with the Green Book, the Green Book was a book that African Americans had to carry with them if they were traveling in their cars.
Make sure that they didn't stop at the wrong place.
To make sure that they wouldn't be harassed if they wanted to go in the hotel or go into a restaurant.
That's correct.
The Carver Heights Motel was one of those motels.
That's correct.
And it is just the only motel that is still standing. And that's part of your history. Now, when you continue to go down Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail, you'll see George Washington, a plaque for George Washington Carver. You'll see a marker for, not a plaque, but a marker. You'll see a marker for E.E. Foley, telling the history of George Washington Carver, telling the history of E.E. Foley. And then it's like that all the way down to 10th Avenue. The Thomas H. Brewer marker would be there at the school, in front of the school. And when we get to Marshall, one of the things that I'm working on now is to basically take the old Marshall's football field and to make it a community garden. And that community garden will be ran by the kids. It will be a place where they can do hands-on learning. See, our kids got to see the benefit of getting an education through doing things that connect to what the teacher is trying to teach with them. By having a garden. Hold on.
Let me get to that. I just want to ask a question.
Okay.
And that is, has there been any discussion in reference to that as for the school providing some curriculum for students in that class?
Hello, this is Richard Jesse, the director for the restoration of Claflin School and the director of the Columbus Urban Debate League. And you're watching New Way to Live Network.
Whereby, when we were doing projects, that would be a part of our study, so that will facilitate students learning in the classroom, like Mr. Allen.
Okay. We're not going to talk about Mr. Allen.
No, I'm saying that.
Because Mr. Allen is gone. We got to talk about now.
Right.
These kids now.
Right. But the example is already
I am working to get a curriculum.
Okay.
Of the history of African Americans within this city for elementary school level, middle school level, and also high school level to be taught in our schools. See, if you don't know where you came from, you don't know where you're going.
Exactly.
And to be taught about everything but yourself,
we call it Sankofa.
You are basically wasting time.
Exactly.
I know my great-grandson is 7 years old, and he called me day before yesterday, and he was in the car with his mother on the back seat, in his safety seat, and his mother said, "Granddad, I want you to hear something. Jalen want to talk to you." So I told him, okay. So Jalen came on the phone, and Jalen said, "Granddaddy, they fooling us." Now, he's 7 years old.
Right.
I say, fooling us? I said, what are you talking about, grandson? He say, Benjamin Franklin didn't invent the electricity. It was one of us to invent the electricity.
That's right.
Now, at 7 years old, he knows that now. But the thing of it is that all of our kids need to know these type of things. Putting up the Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail is going to create a corridor from West Columbus to East Columbus.
Right.
Now, at the garden, when we get the garden set up, there's going to be hoop houses in the garden. There's going to be raised beds in the garden we're working to work with the kids in the alternative school, and also we're working to work with the kids in J.D. Davis.
Okay.
The J.D. Davis Elementary School would be working in raised beds.
Okay.
The high school kids and middle school kids would be working basically in hoop houses and also in just land garden part of the field. Tuskegee Institute has been in our city with me for approximately 3 months.
Tuskegee University.
Tuskegee University, thank you. Has been in our city with me for about 3 months, the Department of Agriculture.
Okay.
That's where George Washington Carver
Right.
is buried, and also where he taught.
Right.
Now, George Washington Carver used to have gardens. He had one here in the Carver Heights community.
Right.
This was after World War II. George Washington Carver named those gardens Victory Gardens.
Victory Gardens, exactly.
Now, what we're going to do is we're going to put a Victory Garden there. In that Victory Garden, I'm going to ask, and I'm inviting all parents, loved ones that have lost a child with violence in our city to meet with me, and we're going to put this garden in, and then we're going to put a listing of all of the young people that has been killed in our city. It's time for us to face this, and we got to stop talking and get up off of our tails and do something. The Victory Garden is just the first garden. I'm working with the city now, and we're going to put gardens in all of these violent communities.
Okay.
And we're going to bring the people out. I'm going to go in and talk to the people that live in those neighborhoods. And we're going to bring the people out, and then we're going to let them take ownership of the garden.
Right.
Now, all of the food that is grown in the gardens, you can come in, pick as much as you want, take it home, and feed your kids or feed yourself, and it's not going to cost you a dime.
Right.
We are going to have to, and I'm working on it now. First thing is clean up our community.
That's right.
We got to go into each one of these communities as a group, and as a group with love in our hearts, pick up paper, get all these old raggedy cars out of the yard.
Right, right.
You want your child to learn, but he's learning walking through all of this garbage.
Right. And
You
have no
can't learn it.
Right.
You can't train the mind to think and move that fast.
Right. And many times.
And hold on one minute. Now let me finish here. Hold on. And then you can ask. Hold on. Let me finish here.
I want to add something.
Go ahead.
Okay, I want
Go
to add
ahead.
something. That I'm glad you mentioned that, because that means that there are some communities that have already been working on these things that we can bring together to
Right.
this.
That's what we got to do.
Because part of the problem is in these initiatives, as you mentioned, these projects, is that we work in silos. And many times in working in silos, nobody really gets the chance to do anything really good because it's inadequate. But with us coming together, coming together, we call it umoja, unity, coming together around these various projects. And there'll be different people. For example, the business issue that I brought up before, that's a circle of people. The agriculture area, this is a circle of people, almost like the round table that was talked about.
All of this is being put
Right.
together as
Right.
you speak. I've been working on this project now for 6 years.
Right, same here.
And the thing of it is that, you said, well, the white churches, they do this, they do that, and do the other, because they got people in those churches that know how to get grants to do these things.
Right.
We can't do it out of our pocket. It's bigger than our pocket.
Right.
We got to get into the government and get our leaders within our political world,
Talking about politicians.
to politicians, to help to get the resources there so that these things can be done.
Have you talked to? Have you started talking to the politicians and business leaders?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so far everybody's in.
Everybody that I've talked to is in.
Okay.
I haven't talked to all of them because of the fact that when you bring in too many people, you don't have nothing but chaos. And if you get to chaos, then you bog down. Because everybody think that their idea is good. And then you get into a meeting, and the next thing you know, you got a whole big argument instead of a solution.
Right.
And you walk out of the meeting with the same thing you walked in there with, the same problem.
Right.
All of them have not been notified as of yet what I'm doing. I'm getting them one at a time.
Right. Which is fine.
So that we can get on the same accord.
Right.
Then we can come in.
Which is fine.
So we're working on these things. We are asking everybody that has an organization, whether it's you deal with, let's say, mental health. We need the mental health people in on this.
Well, because we
You deal with
ex-offenders,
ex-offenders. We need
and families.
We need
Right.
somebody from that organization
Right.
in.
Project
we
Rebound.
Need Project Rebound. We need everybody to come in and let's see the resources that we got so we can direct our people to these resources.
Right. Mm-hmm.
See, we got the resources,
Yes.
but nobody know how to reach them.
Right.
And this is why I say we need everybody.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head earlier, though, is that I think that part of the problem is, and as I mentioned, people working in silos, but one of the things about it is that there's some intern in-house, and I mentioned to you before in-house, and what you're saying, for example, as you know, the agriculture stuff I've been working on 15, 20 years.
Right.
Water meadows and all of that, okay? Now, but the problem that happens many times is that we are going to have to pray, okay? And we have to move forward with the openness to make sure that everybody who has something to offer has an opportunity to invest in the bigger picture.
Let me tell you how I feel about that.
Okay.
I love God. I believe He is the creator of all things.
That's right.
I love Allah. I love Jehovah.
There's names.
But prayer without work is dead.
That's what it said.
And you got to get off of our tails. And, I go to business meetings, and the first thing they want to do is pray. Listen.
But it don't do no good.
Listen, God don't have time for that.
No, that's not for God.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
I'm listening to you.
me. I know it's not for
prayer
God.
is for us. It ain't for God.
I know it is.
Right.
But there's a place for everything.
Right.
If you're going to pray, then that's fine. Pray in your closet. If you're going to pray, go to church and pray.
Well,
Believe in
should
what
pray
you're
everywhere.
praying. Well, see, that's the concept that we have. You can go into any other businesses, and I go into a lot of businesses with a whole lot of different people.
Yeah.
And these people don't go in there talking about no praying. That's personal.
Yeah.
And we have taken it to be, if I just pray for it.
No.
Hold on.
No. Well, again, let's make sure you got it right now. Because we're not talking. We're talking about different. We're not talking about praying for nothing. Because we got to do what we got to do. But what we're saying is calling on the highest power in you, the highest power in me, the highest power. There's nothing wrong with calling on the highest power among us to allow us to be able to hear each other and also to commune with each other to produce something justifiably good.
I go along with that 100%, but that needs to be a prayer service. It don't need to be a business meeting.
No.
If we're going to do business, let's do business.
Well,
and then let's do praying if we're going to do praying. That's why the ministers come in. That's why the ministers come in.
Let me correct you on something. See, the way I see prayer is your work. It's not about getting on your knees. But for example, we're praying right now. What we're talking about and trying to convey and trying to express and show also some communication and the fact that people can have different perspectives and they also can work together toward a common goal. That's an act of prayer. It's not just a matter of stopping and saying, let's open the Bible. No, this action that we're doing is a prayer. We're being prayerful now.
Well, this is why I say we're going to have to move this. If we're going to move our community forward, it's going to have to be done a few at a time. Because just like you and I are disagreeing, you know,
Right.
if you got 50 people in the room and everybody is disagreeing, when we walk out of there,
That's my point.
it's not going to be anything.
That's my
you
point.
take for an example, I came to discuss the Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning
Right.
Trail, the cleaning of our community,
Right.
the organizing of our community.
Right.
Okay, now, when I leave, who have gotten anything from what we've said?
Well, I think that everybody should have gotten something from what you said because, like you said, we came to discuss.
I know,
Right.
but we got to discuss
Right.
instead of trying to talk over each other
Well-
in order, hold on.
Yeah, well,
Hey, hold on,
again,
give me a minute.
okay. Well, I'm trying to get. See, this is, and I think people can learn from this. Okay, if we're having a discussion, when I'm saying something, just like I can pause, you can talk. If you're talking, if I want to offer something, you can pause. But it's not just an ongoing. It's a discussion. It's an exchange. If you say something that I need clarity on, then I want you to stop me so I can clarify that. And if you saying something that I need clarity on, I'm going to expect the same thing. So that's what I'm trying to say to you is that this is an opportunity for us to show. Look, I'm asking questions just like anybody else asks questions. You ask me questions of things. You see?
But the thing of it is this. We can't spend too much time on clarity. We got to be able to accept what people are doing, join into it, and make it happen.
Or join together.
Right. Join together and make it happen.
Right.
We can't continue to sit for clarity because you'll never get clarity.
Well, yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can get clarity.
Well, you know, I've been in this world a long time.
Me too.
72, 73 years.
Well, 71 going on 72.
And our black peoples have been basically somewhat like just about destroyed.
Exactly.
And we've been like that since the integration era came
That's
along.
exactly right.
So we've been trying to get clarity for
No. That's just it.
time.
We have not been trying to get clarity. That's the problem. People are so busy. See, like I said, I got ideas, you got ideas. But my point is this. We should be looking how to join ideas. Okay, that's where the problem comes in is that people don't get understanding. Okay, before they join in with things.
But we can't join in and we can't look to see how to join in if we can't just sit and talk.
That's what I'm saying.
And listen.
I agree.
And weigh what each other is saying
exactly.
beside of criticizing.
Right.
We got to stop this.
Right. Now, let's hold 7. Now, in our exchange, what do you consider to be? Do you see a criticism or do you see a clarification? What do you see?
I see more of a criticism.
Okay, well, tell me what's a criticism?
Not of me, but of our people.
What?
And what we got to do.
Well, that's what you're here for, to talk about what we should be doing.
No, I'm here to talk about what is happening.
I thought you said
of today.
I thought you said that you were working with people to get certain things done.
Right.
Okay.
So that's already clear.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. So that's
already clear.
So that's not a criticism.
No, I'm not talking about criticizing me. I'm talking about criticizing the community as a whole.
What is the criticism?
About, well, you know, y'all got to stop doing, we got to stop doing this and doing that and doing the other. Give everybody that opportunity to, but listen to me now.
But the only thing I'm trying to say to you is this. You saying what people should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. I don't take that as a criticism. I see that as a suggestion.
Well, see, the time that we're using trying to iron this out is time that we should be using trying to communicate to the people the idea of what is happening now. and how they can get involved
Right.
to help.
Right.
That's what we need to be doing.
Right.
But we're not doing that.
I mean, looks like me. You going all the way down the trail, okay? And you're talking about how these different projects you perceive them to moving forward, okay? And I have some questions, and I'm assuming that you, in any situation, you expect to answer them. I don't have no particular direction. The answer is the answer, and so then you move to the next step. That's all that is.
Well, see, but this is what I'm saying to you. The Martin Luther King Trail runs from Macon Road down to Bay Avenue. You have signs out on the exits getting off on Macon Road saying theater, what's the name of it?
The
Springer Theater, the
Chick-fil-A.
You know what I'm saying?
The
These big signs.
Sure.
We need to get Martin Luther King name on that sign. See, and we waste time sitting here talking about clarity, but the people don't know what to do and how to do it.
But that's why
That's the reason.
question.
That's the reason I came to tell them how to do it and what we need to do as a community to come together to have these things did.
Right. That's why I said that was fine, and that's why we will have a discussion about what it is that you plan on doing, so that we can see how we all can work together. Because it's all our community. It's not just your community, not just my community. It's all our community. And yes, it's like anything else. And there's a quote that I live by. If you want to go fast, you go by yourself. If you want to go far, you go with a team. Mm-hmm. And so the only thing I'm trying to say is that teamwork is it's like anything else. Yeah, it's a little messy. It might take a little longer, but when your heart is in the right place and you work together, then those things will fall aside and you will continue to move forward. So that's why, and in the spirit of that same dynamic is the reason why. Hello, I'm Dr. J. Aleem Hud, the executive producer and host of Visions Now, and you're watching New Way to Live Network. They will come and let us do this, right?
Excuse me. This is something that we went over.
Right.
When I first started talking, I said, we got to get all of our people together. Got to get the church together. We got to get people that deal with mental illness together. I went through all of that. So now what we're doing is going back over what we've already talked about. But I don't mind doing it because 9 times out of 10 people done got so much now until they don't know what to have themselves. So they are confused. Let's just talk about how we can make our community better, how we can save our young people.
You mentioned about the sign.
How we can get the elderly people to feel free to come out of their houses again and be able to walk down the street. How we can get our community so that we can get trash off of our community. Mm-hmm. We can get old abandoned cars out of our community, and how we can do all of these things.
So you mentioned about the sign.
So we've brought in already a lot of different organizations and people. So this is what I'm saying to you. One thing that I do not like is to criticize my people, because they're doing the best that they know. It's our responsibility to teach.
That's right.
And we have to teach what we are facing of as today.
Right.
Not yesteryears.
Right.
Because that's history.
Right. Now you
learn that through what the Martin Luther King Trail is going to give you.
You mentioned about the signs.
Okay, I'm going to come back to the sign. You
okay.
want me to go to the sign now? I'm gonna
Well,
come
I mean,
back.
I want you to
hold
go.
on. I'm going to the sign.
But when you don't do, I'm trying to say then.
But I'm going to the signs. Okay. Now, so the trail is going to make those things available for them. Now, the signs out on getting off on Macon Road, the signs for Dr. King's name up on the streets running across all major arteries in Columbus, those signs need to be up in the air. Dr. Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail. Those need to be like on Veterans Parkway. So anybody that come to Columbus that's going north or coming south will see Dr. King's name. It needs to be on Broad so that Columbus State College, University, Columbus State University students that come from all over the world need to be able to see Dr. King's name. Need to be on First Avenue, need to be down to the river, at the Riverwalk. So people that come here touring and going whitewater rafting and all of these things that the city is building up downtown, we would seem to have a part in this because Dr. King's name will be all over the place. Now, these are the type of things that the trail is going to do. That's for Dr. King and for our people in our community. But we got to do things for ourselves.
Right.
We got to clean our community up. I need all of the neighborhood watch captains to contact me so we can meet and then we can go into these communities and sit down in these people's houses so that we can talk to them or get a large building like the library or George Washington Carver Auditorium, invite these people in so that they can see the vision.
Right.
You know, the vision of Turnaround Columbus is give our young people hope and guidance. And this is the way that we can do it. We got our young people graduating from college. You were saying our young people graduate from college and then they leave Columbus and don't come back.
Right.
Well, in order for people to want to stay, especially our kids, and not only our kids, I remember working with Frank Martin when he was the mayor.
Yeah.
And Frank said, Buckner, I tell you what, I want to change Columbus so that my son will come back to Columbus and live.
Right.
I want to beautify the gateways of Columbus.
Right.
We got to beautify our gateways.
Right. Exactly.
That's going into our community.
Right.
We got to teach our kids, you don't ride down the street and roll the window down and throw the trash out.
Right.
I would like to
Or
see.
walk around with your pants slack.
I would like to see in our city that they, instead of putting these signs up saying no dumping, do not litter, they need to put the sign up say $1,500 for throwing trash out, for littering, and the driver of those cars should be held accountable. Just like if you were driving your car and you got drugs in your car, but the joker on the back seat dropped them on the floorboard, guess who's responsible for those drugs?
Everybody in the car.
Right, including the driver.
Everybody in the car.
Right, but they gonna get the driver.
Yeah,
That's who they gonna get.
Yeah, he in the car.
And if somebody throw paper out of your car and you driving that car, then you should be responsible for it.
Right.
So these are the type of things that we got to address.
Right.
We got to stop saying that's not fair. We
Right.
shouldn't do that.
Right.
You know, we talk about the police department. We got over 100 polices short, but we want to get a police as soon as we call them. Our polices are working as hard as they can, but they are not policing. What they are doing is going, writing reports and going to the tragedies that happen. You call them and say somebody is breaking in my house, it may be 35, 40 minutes, or an hour before they come. We're going to have to realize that we're going to have to raise taxes in this city to hire police officers and to get them to walk through our community and to get them to get out of their cars, get on bicycles, ride through the neighborhoods, get to know the people in the community.
Right. Now,
The way that they can do that is basically by calling a meeting with the neighborhood watch people and then talk about this.
Right.
Let's plan this.
Right. Let me share this with you. I've talked to the police chief about the same thing you're talking about now. And part of the problem is the retention of officers. It's not just, just the reason why they're short. It's not so much, they got the money for those officers, but when people come here to work, there are some other issues as far as competitiveness that many times they train them and they go work in other places. So that has to be resolved and worked through, as well as the issue as far as needing more money. They got money, but they're going to have to work it out in a way whereby people can be retained, is what he said.
Well, and that's true, because of the fact of this. You look at Opelika. Opelika is getting ready to give their police officers one of the biggest raises that they have ever did in that city. Opelika is about 60 miles from here. And we sit here, say we pay, I'm just going to use a figure. We pay our police officers, they get $35, let's say $1,000 a year. All right, that sounds good. But when they have to pay into the insurance and do all of this other stuff that they have to do, then how much of that $35,000 a year are they taking home? We are going to have to step up to the plate and realize that these people need a raise. And if we're going to compete, they got to have the money to do that. And listen, I don't like paying taxes.
Right.
I mean, but my God, at some point you got to say, we got to do this.
Right. Now, I agree with you, but I also have another point of view. And that is that while we are increasing and making sure that the law enforcement has the amount of money that they need to sustain their families and to do a good job, we also need to invest in prevention of crime. And I've not been satisfied, maybe you have, but I've not been satisfied with how the crime prevention funds have been utilized so that we can start working on both ends, not just in terms of making sure that we get more police, but also helping to prevent and intervene so that our young people are not continuing to fill up. I'm on the advisory board at the YDC, and 8 out of 10 of those young people that go to the YDC go back. So, but there are reasons, because there are no resources really working with those young people. They've shown themselves to be risky, but there are no resources going to address them in a meaningful way. Okay. So therefore, I understand that both of those things need to be done.
Okay, let me say this. Policing can't raise a child.
No, exactly.
We got to raise our children.
That's right.
And you're dealing with generations.
Police can lock them up.
Hold on now. Hold on. You're dealing with generations of young kids having kids. And their grandmothers are kids just about. So these children, a lot of them are raising themselves. They live in latchkey homes.
So the solution is what?
The solution is going into these homes. We have a person that has a GED organization, getting these people to go into these homes and teach these people how to get their GED so they can get a job.
So we agree.
Hold on.
So we agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then get these people to trade school.
Right.
So they can learn a trade.
Right.
Do the garden at Marshall Middle School.
Those crime prevention.
Hold on. Do the job at the garden at Marshall Middle School. Get the medical field to get involved, because you can bring those parents to the garden. The hospital can put in a kitchen in the garden. And then the kids can pick the crops and bring them in. The parents can come to the schools and they can work with their kids as far as learning how, because the teacher's going to teach the kids how to can fruits, how to can vegetables, and things like that. And what you do is bring the parents in so that the parent can work with the child. And once the parents start working with the child and they start enjoying the relationship of mother and daughter, or mother and son, and see the results of their work, then you start bringing the family unit back together.
Right. And that's why I'm saying that we also have to put resources in to do those things that you just got through talking about, the GED, the job training, working with those dysfunctional families, helping them stay whole. That takes resources as well.
Well, now, let me go back to what you said. Hold on. I'm gonna let you say. I'm gonna let you say what you want to say.
Thank you, but let me explain something to you. Okay, what I want you to do was to let us know what was going to take place on Monday.
Okay.
So that we get ready to wrap it up.
Okay.
So we can do a part 2 to extend this a little bit more.
Now, the first thing I'm going to say this. You mentioned about crime prevention money.
Right.
That crime prevention money, I helped to pass.
Me too.
That tax.
Me too. As you remember.
The money isn't. I don't feel like the money is being correctly used.
Okay, good.
Because it's not being used where the crime is happening.
Can we agree on that?
You see what I'm saying? I'm not now. Listen, I'm not dumb.
No.
But listen to me. But we got to train our young people how to set up 501c3s, because it's going to take that to get the crime prevention money.
Right.
How to be able to explain what you're going to do in a proposal, then put the proposal together with the 501c3, and then go down to the crime prevention and say, here's my proposal, here's my 501c3 recognition, and I would like to get $50,000.
Right.
Okay, listen now.
But let me share something with you.
Go ahead.
Okay, because this is what I do. This is what I do. I write proposals. We help with 501c3s, but this is the other problem. And this is the reality of what we're dealing here with, Ranzel. The people who are running the crime prevention office are not up to date on how to address crime prevention in an urban environment. They don't know how to do that.
Okay, go ahead, but don't take too long.
We're going to wrap this part up and let you go on Monday. But I'm just wanting to explain to you that I deal with it all the time. And so therefore, what has to happen is that there needs to be people on the crime prevention board and leading the crime prevention effort who truly are invested and will know and understand the importance of having a coordinated effort to address the issue and not just put a little bit over there, put a little bit over there, put some over there, put some over there, and pray that it's going to be all right. You need to have someone who understands how to do coordinated crime prevention, and that is not what's taking place, and that's why we spent around $9 to $10 million, and nobody can put their hands on what has been the results of that money. So we'll go a long ways on that, but once you say.
But let me say this. Okay. If you do 501c3s, if you write proposals and stuff, you need to open up and say, okay, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, I can't run your business. All right? Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, from so-and-so time to so-and-so time, if you are the organization and you want to get a 501c3, come into my office, sit down, explain to me what you're going to do, and then we'll fill out a short form for a 501c3, and then we'll get a proposal after we see what you're going to do with the money, and then we'll write that proposal. Now, the way that you handle that, if you know the proposal is right, and if you know you done put in all of the correct paperwork and stuff,
Right.
then if you don't receive the grant, then you want to know why.
Right.
And the way that you find out why is that those grants are basically ran by the government, either the city government or either the federal government.
We're talking about the city government now.
Then you go and you challenge them to show you where the money is being spent.
Right. Now the feds,
That's your right.
My experience is the feds get it. The feds get it, but again, the reality is that locally crime prevention money is used as a slush fund to support political patronage. That's the bottom line.
Well,
on
see,
that. So that
I can't say that.
I can say.
Hello, everybody. This is Johnny Newsom with Financial Solution and Associates, and you're tuned into New Way to Live Network.
There are many other people who can say that.
Right.
So we won't debate about
but
that.
the thing of it is that bring those people together,
Yeah, well, that's,
and then drop that. Put the charge on them, and then let them.
That's
prove
been
to
just like
wrong.
you said. That's some things happening. That's happening as we speak.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, Monday, starting at 8 o'clock, we will start meeting at the school district building out here on Macon Road. We've been doing this for 5 years, meeting at the school district building out here on Macon Road. And people can park their cars there in the school district building. And then we're going to, Keep Columbus Beautiful is involved in this. They're going to furnish the bags and all of the gloves and things to pick the paper up. We'll be dropping off at certain spots along the Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail, the trash bags, and the city is going to pick them up that following day. Now, we have cars escorting people just in case if you're old but you want to try it, come out. Cars will be following the march, and then you can get in the car if you get tired. We're going to go from there, picking up paper, down to Dr. Thomas H. Brewer School. And we're going to stop at Dr. Thomas H. Brewer School coming from Macon Road.
I'm just trying to get a clarity.
Go ahead.
I missed something.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a march, or the people that will be picking up the trash will be the march.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. Now, there will also be a group starting at the YMCA, A.J. McClung YMCA, down on Martin Luther King Outdoor Learning Trail.
Right.
And that group will start there at the same time at 9 o'clock. They will have bags and paper and water and cars following that group. That group will start and they will come to Dr. Thomas H. Brewer School also. That's where we'll meet back up at. Chester's Barbecue is going to furnish the food. And so when we finish picking up the trash and all, then Chester's will be there to feed us.
This is at
the Thomas H. Brewer.
Oh, okay.
At the Thomas H. Brewer Elementary School.
Okay.
Now, you leave your cars parked at A.J. McClung YMCA and also at the school district, but you're going to be at Thomas H. Brewer School when you finish.
Everybody's going to meet there.
Okay,
got you.
We have church buses that's going to transport the people back to the cars. So you don't have to worry about getting back to your car because the buses from the church is going to ride you back to your cars. Now we will start at 8 o'clock meeting, but we will start picking up trash at 9 o'clock. And the 8 o'clock reason is for give everybody a chance to get together and have time to get there because we're going to have a lot of people walking that street. And we want to make sure that everybody leave on time and finish on time.
Now, if anyone has any questions or they want to participate, what telephone number can you give them for further information after this program?
Just go online to Turnaround Columbus and website, and you'll be able to get all of that information.
If they don't have a computer, then what do they do?
Well, just be there.
Okay.
Because I don't want to give out my number.
Okay, I mean, that's fine. I mean,
and I don't want to give out nobody else's number.
Right, I'm just,
go online. If you don't have a computer, It's use your phone, because I know everybody like Facebook.
Okay.
And a lot of people's got phones. They can go to the Facebook.
And what we'll
page.
do, we'll share this video here, share this discussion here, and matter of fact, maybe if not all of it, but give the website again, and you can pass it on and share it with your friends. Okay, let's do a little grapevining on this.
Correct. That's turnaroundcolumbus@gmail.com. No, that's my email.
Okay.
Don't email me. Turnaround Columbus website. And just all location, turn around Columbus, and then hit the button and it should come up.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And remember, if you know any of the neighborhood captains, watch captains, please contact me. At Skipper Seafood, just come in and just let me know who they are, give me their name, and then we'll have a meeting and we'll discuss the gardens and things like that as we move forward.
Okay. All right. Again, thank you for coming out today.
You're quite welcome.
As
every
always,
time we get together, it's a robust conversation.
You already know. We're going to keep it real.
That's right.
We're going to keep it real. No doubt about it. So again, as always, as you know, Project Rebound Inc., we collaborate with Turnaround Columbus to make it whole. And we also invite others to participate. And if you have any questions, of course, you can give us a call of 706-221-4830, or you can just hit me right here on the Facebook, and you have a question or a comment you need to make about what we're talking about today. Or if you have some events that you want to talk about, and come on, we're going to have a robust discussion with you too, because it's about visions now. And of course, it's a very passionate situation, because we are in a serious situations that we truly need love. We need love. We need love, and we need to learn how to love. And love is listening and communicating and embracing, and it also is forgiving. Also, because many times we inadvertently might offend each other and not even realize it. But again, they said, put it on my head, not on my heart. And so that's the way we have to approach these situations, because everybody feels strongly about what they feel strongly about. And so therefore, but we have to understand that at the end of the day, if you want to go fast, go by yourself. If you want to go far, join the team, because that's the only way we're really going to get far. We're not going to get free. I can't be free by myself. He can't be free by himself. Either we're going to be free or we're not going to be free. That's the way it goes. Okay, before we end up, I want to give you a health tip. Since it's cold weather out here today, these are juice cures. Carrot juice, pineapple juice, ginger, and garlic. Put that together, blend it, and then at the first sign of a cold, through the duration of the cold, and it's going to shorten the duration, help build your immune system, and help fight that cold, okay? So that's our juice cure for today. And this is my I'm Just Saying segment. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., when he first came to Columbus, as I understand it, he was not able to speak in not one church in Columbus, Georgia, because it was unpopular for him to speak in the churches. And at that time, apparently, people were afraid to let him speak. But now today, we all paying big money for breakfasts. We coming out to celebrations, and we're doing all kinds of things. But I'm trying to say is that just remember the fact that we have to embrace what Dr. King stood for, not just getting our riches from the work and the sacrifices he has made. I'm just saying, okay? I'm just saying that we owe a debt of gratitude to his sacrifice. Go study his life and see what he stood for. He stood for the poor people's campaign. He stood for social and economic justice. He stood for the garbage workers to get a livable wage. He also stood for one thing that he said that people forget, that he seems that he's inviting people to integrate into a burning house. And he's feeling bad about that because the bottom line is, God bless the child that got his own. I'm just saying, that's my own, I'm just saying moment. And I'd like to close with this. A person who knows and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple. Teach them. A person who knows not and believes that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. A person who knows and knows not that they know is asleep. Awaken them. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All of these persons reside in you. Know thyself, and to Amen Ra Mayat be true. Good day. Promotion Shushashende Ruasasa Rosuri, which means together we will win freedom now because we are a beautiful people. Goodbye.
Hello, my name is Juan Lane, and thank you for tuning in to this station, New Way to Live. Listen, we can't do it without your help. We need you to send your donations in today. This is how this station operates, and we're trying to do the very best for you and your family with the production that we have. We are really giving it our all, but we cannot continue it without your financial support. So please send your offerings in to P.O. Box 3615, Columbus, Georgia 3631903, in care of New Way to Live, and we'll make sure that we get it on so we can keep this great program going. If you and your family are enjoying it, we pray that you continue we pray that you send us a offering that we can continue it and do the very best for you. Also, make sure that you watch our public education program. This is a very special program where it can help you prepare for your next test. The public education program right here on New Way to Live. Thank you. Did you know that the majority of people have no will, trust, or power of attorney? What will happen to your children, property, or other assets? If you can't make decisions for yourself, who will know your wishes? Will the appropriate people know where to find all of your personal and financial documentations and information? Well, we have a program developed by attorneys to complete at your own pace from the comfort of your home. You can update this program as needed with no add-ons or surprise fees. You can secure all of your important information in this virtual password-protected safety deposit box with easy-to-use services and client support system available. Please call me today at 706-366-5520. Again, call me today at 706-366-5520. I hope to hear from you soon.